Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is going to be a little bit of a different video because an author that I'm quite fond of is once again doing things that are trying to make me dislike him. And I wish he would stop. I think the title of this video speaks volumes. It's basically a plea to Mr. Brandon Sanderson, author of The Cosmere and many books that I love and have enjoyed many times through, to please stop doing this. Please stop. I know you've had your thoughts about the Rings of Power, and I know it's not you're not giving a glowing review of it, but every time you say things like "in defense of Rings of Power," and then you go ahead and sprout off about how you can see how things are happening, it's very clear and it's very worrying to a lot of your fans, where your adaptations may go. So real quick, I'm going to bring in my friend and the traveling man, Mr. Salty Texas C. How are you? Well, not Texas anymore, traveling. I screwed it up right off the bat. What's up, brother?
Doesn't matter. I'm all right. I mean, honestly, there's a backstory to this, and everybody should know it. I was down the pub having a pint, hanging out, and my phone would not shut up. And I look over because I have a channel chat, and everybody's talking about Brandon Sanderson and about him saying nice things about the Rings of Mediocrity, about the Rings of Power. And I immediately reached out to my good friend Steve because I know Steve and I have talked about Brandon Sanderson's takes before, and I have done a couple different videos with Brandon Sanderson's takes on the Wheel of Time, some of which was hit like 50,000 views with people yelling at me and calling me racist and incel. So I thought maybe I'd jump in because I have no idea what's going on. I really don't.
Well, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? And I haven't watched the video yet, and I'm going to, because I'd like to do a live stream with several of the prominent members that frequent this channel, prominent members.
Yeah, man.
After I watch it, so this is probably a uneducated take on a video he made, but the title to me is enough. Now, he's now released a video that's in defense of Rings of Power. So we're now taking the stance of taking a defense on what's undefendable. And I know go ahead.
I was going to say, we were talking before we went live, and I said, Steve, let's do this live. So I think what we all know is where his Cosmere series is going to end up, based upon what he did playing the game for the Wheel of Time with Amazon, and now defending the indefensible for Amazon with the Rings of Power. I would put $1,000 in the fact it's going to be on Amazon, which is regrettable. And the true question is, who will be directing and responsible for Cosmere? And I don't want to cause you an aneurysm, but imagine if it's Rafe Judkins.
Oh God, man, I will freaking lose my mind. Don't even say that.
No.
But it's possible, right? I mean, like, he's getting all these all these video game he's doing God of War. For some reason, the most feminine man on the planet is getting the God of War series to direct. Explain that to me. But to be fair, now this again, I haven't watched the video yet. I'm gonna watch it because I'd like to do a live stream. But there's a reason that, so this is all going off, his sort of the way he's done things for his YouTube channel, which I've now said publicly, I wish his YouTube channel didn't exist, because I loved his YouTube channel when it was updates on his books and updates on his writings and updates about himself and all that stuff, and even him playing video games, whatever, right? When he starts getting into defending these pieces of shit, it just,
it's a problem.
It hurts. It hurts me. I don't watch it on purpose, and I'm gonna watch this one, and I don't watch it on purpose because I've talked a few times. Yeah,
I'll watch it with you because I can't stand this stuff. I really can't. And here's the problem, Steve, is that I think he's doing this because he said way too accurate things about the Wheel of Time.
Well,
and he said them twice. He said them last November, and then he said them again in March and April, and it was the same thing. And I think that somebody's like, "Hey, do you now want your Cosmere to be on Amazon?" And I think that's what it was. And so now he has to make nice because, and I'm convinced of this, every creative out there is getting a sheet of paper that says these are your new talking points.
Oh,
Okay? This
yeah.
is, you have to be team tranny. You have to be team climate change. You have to be team capitalism bad. And you have to be team whatever we made that gets rid of toxic masculinity and the 3-act play and human entertainment. You have to say it's the best ever. And I'm convinced that's happening. And it's not
May-
just him, you know?
Oh no, it's not him. Well, it's fun. And now this is a third because apparently now hearsay again. Haven't watched the video yet. I will. I
Yeah.
promise I will. So this is good. So I may have to make a retraction. I doubt it, but whatever. But Zach7 has been. I'm sure he's watching it. Sort of been giving a play-by-play in the Wolf Brothers chat, your member chat.
Mhm.
And apparently he said that Rings of Power was at least better than Wheel of Time. So that's
Okay.
I say that's a third
Yeah.
shot at the bow of Wheel of Time because holy crap,
It
right?
is. And here's the thing, that's like saying getting shot in the face with a 45 is better than getting shot in the face with a shotgun. With the
That's
shotgun being Wheel of Time. You're
that
still dead. It still sucks. Your brains are all over the wall
well,
behind you. But when somebody comes to look at the dead body, okay, there's less to scrape off the walls, right? I mean, is that what we're talking about?
What I thought, what my first thing that came to my head was,
Jesus
I
Christ.
sat down on the toilet, and at least it wasn't diarrhea this time.
Okay,
It's
I
yeah.
love it. I love the analogy. Keep going. Keep
I
going.
sat down. At least my poop is solid this time, right? I mean,
Wow!
I
As
mean that's what
opposed to
these
the
shows
Rings of
are, right?
Power, as opposed to Rings of Power, which is the diarrhea of
Well,
fantasy. Let's
apparently,
be
except
really
for him, the Wheel of Time is the diarrhea, and Rings of Power is the solid poop. But the
wow.
reason I'm doing like I made a video. Salty reached out to me, so I'm sort of redoing it because
I was at the bar. That's what kind of a guy I am. I knew my man was hurting because I
well,
didn't see a hot take in Twitter chat. I saw sorrow. And when I see sorrow with a friend, I'm like, is he sitting there with a Luger in his mouth going, this is it. I've reached
no,
my breaking point. You know what
it's
I mean?
Christmas. It's
So,
the time of joy. That's why I haven't watched the video yet, right? But
I know.
there's a reason I haven't watched it. I know it's
Yeah.
a little hypocritical when you're talking about a video you haven't watched yet. But I'm not talking about what's in the context of the video. I'm talking about his past talking points on other stuff, and just the
Yeah.
title of this when you're I don't know why you're doing this other than you just felt like it, right? His podcast with his friend. I hate every single one of them because I can't. I've had to stop watching them because there was, and I've said it on the channel a few times, on my channel, on every other channel, lots of other channels. If I'm watching anything other than a update video from Sanderson or a video about one of his cool projects
Mhm.
because they're
Mhm.
cool.
Right.
If I want,
I
yeah,
bought the miniatures. I
yeah,
bought them.
keep
They're
doing that
great. I
stuff.
wanted to support
Yeah,
them. Yeah. I
keep
bought the
doing that stuff.
book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so it's like instead of doing that stuff, you're doing this other stuff, defending these shows. And with the Wheel of Time, when I watched his opinions on it initially, I couldn't enjoy any of Sanderson's stuff in it. And I know
I
that's sort
remember.
of that
I
might be
remember.
I don't know if that's I don't petty. I don't know if petty's the word. I don't think petty's the word,
No.
but I was just so
No.
mentally pissed off that he would do
It's
that
it's not.
I couldn't read any Cosmere stuff because I kept thinking about what he had to say about the Wheel of Time. And I'm
The
trying not to
reason
do that, but it's just like this is sort of
it's
unavoidable.
it so what it is it's the struggle of trying to separate the artist from the art. Okay. Stephen King, a lot of people love him. I think he's mostly a mediocre writer except for The Stand, but that guy's batshit crazy. All right. If you just look at his social media feed and his
Oh, yeah.
political views, I would never read his shit. I never would. I would never watch Charmed, which has hot chicks in it. The only reason I watched it, the
Oh
original
yeah.
one, not the African American one.
Crazy
But
Milano.
Alyssa Milano with her tits out, it's the only reason I watched
Yeah.
Charm. Let's be honest about it. But even now, because her mind is full of
Crazy.
unwashed socks and I don't know what else. It's like there's nothing up there. It's like a dryer running on empty. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's like people say. I mean, and some larger YouTubers have said like, well, you know, Hollywood has always been like this, maybe, but I think there's another part to this, and that I think to be part of this system that makes movies that no one want to see for an audience that doesn't exist and is pushing a transhuman agenda, all of these creatives have got the same sheet of paper with the same bullet points. They do. And they all have to say this shit they probably don't believe, but they're going to say it. Now, that is still indefensible to me. But if you sell your soul to Hollywood, which is full of people who want to chase down too young, okay, and are all into the minors, let's say that, and God knows what else they've got going on. I mean, what's terrible is that it's like saying, you know what, I know that what we're doing is wrong, but I'm not at the bank while you rob it. I'm just across the street watching out for you. And that's what this feels like to me, in my opinion, is that Sanderson has been aiding and abetting not just the destruction of Robert Jordan's work and his own work in ghostwriting after Jordan's passing, but now also defending what was indefensible in the Rings of Power. And it's like, is this the amount of schlong that he has to have all the way to the back of his throat to get his project made? Is that what it is?
I don't understand that, since
You know?
he is on fire. He could just
Yeah,
he could do it himself. He doesn't need anybody. He can
yeah,
kickstart it, and everybody would pay for it easily.
yeah,
Now, again, I want to quantify this. This is coming from hearsay that he said this. So we'll know concrete when we watch the video. But that's what I've been told, was that he said in not so many words that Rings of Power was better than Wheel of Time. So when I hear that, and I don't want to go on when we live stream this, we'll probably look at that a little bit deeper,
yeah,
if that's actually what's said, which I believe it, because Zach Seven
yeah,
is a good dude, and he wouldn't steer me wrong.
yeah.
Subscribe to Zach Seven, but what does he really feel about the Wheel of Time? If
I think
that's
he told
what
us. I think he told us.
I,
I think he told us last November. And remember, I did a video and you did a video in this, and then he did it again. Last November, he said he didn't want the show to be grimdark. That was number one. Number two, he said he didn't like what they did to Perrin's character by giving him a wife. He didn't like the aged up character, and he didn't like what they did to Matt. Okay, so you got three main characters. He didn't like what they did to two of them. Okay, like, so what does that leave? It leaves Rand, who wasn't even the first season. He wasn't even there. He was never there.
which which is funny. Like, it's funny you say that, and I say it every time, because it's really seemed
Yeah,
like he wasn't there, right? He had
he
the
was.
most screen time of anybody. So is
He
that
was what? His what? With a potted plant sitting on his head?
but
Because it
exactly
sure as hell wasn't the Rand show.
that's what speaks volumes about that, is because I looked it up. He has the most screen time of any actor on the show, which would be like, great, he's the main character. But
Right.
you couldn't tell that from what was on the screen. And maybe screen time they're counting when his big toe was on the screen while Egwene was busy being the main character, or Moraine was
That's
being
like
the big character talking down to
that.
her. But it's like, and not to go off on a Wheel of Time rant, but there we go
Why
again.
not? But it's Sanderson, so you
Yeah.
can't help it.
So yeah, so it's just like every time I see one of these things pop up, I have partitioned so much. I've built up
You
this
have to
mental wall.
compartmentalize. You
I've
have to
because it's like
compartmentalize.
I made a decision. It's like, I'm going to enjoy the Cosmere. I'm going to make videos on the Cosmere because I
Yeah,
love the Cosmere. I love Stormlight Archive. I love Mistborn Era 2.
you do.
Mistborn Era 2 ended fantastic. It's one of the probably the best book in the Mistborn series, Lost Metal, possibly. So much going on in that book. I loved it. And
Honestly,
it
Steve,
oh
I
yeah.
think there's two ways to interpret what Sanderson is doing. And again, it's the same thing I said in my video from last November, over a year ago, and then talked about again. You can read this a couple different ways. He's throwing shade in a way that doesn't look like he's throwing shade. Okay. Or what he's saying is that the Rings of Power is so terrible. It's so terrible. It is. But compared to what they did to Robert Jordan, again, it's the 45 to the face as opposed to the shotgun. Now, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. And I said this in my video a year ago. I don't know what's in Brandon Sanderson's heart. I don't. But the fact that he stepped up and he said something, it didn't go far enough for a lot of people, but he said something critical of my Amazon. I don't know. And the Rings of Power is an undeniable stinking pile of
Oh,
shit. And it's a waste of money and it's a waste of time. And let's look at the latest statement. I mean, what is today? Today's December 15th. The
15th.
latest news is that they're going to fix all of the problems of the Rings of Power by hiring an all female Direction team.
Like what does that matter? Like how about you hire a all new story writing team, which you know, because they can't write
Loves
anything.
Tolkien? Like loves
Yeah,
so I
there
don't
you
know
go.
why wouldn't you fire Rafe Judkins? Because again, this is not about the intellectual property. This is not about the character. And it's no longer about telling stories that show heroes that are inspirational and aspirational. That's why Henry Cavill will not be Superman anymore. It's the
Yeah.
same reason. These things are not occurring as random one offs, they're part of the same agenda within our culture. Within our culture, it is removing the value of a single human life in the individual and supplanting it with transhuman agenda shit, which means you don't have a 3 act play, you don't have a hero's journey, you don't have aspirational male characters. Men are evil, women are the bestest ever, and they never have to do anything. And you know why? That's so that nitwits on social media who change their pronouns more than they change their underwear feel like their lifestyle decisions are being vindicated. That is the only reason this shit's happening.
No, and it's becoming. I don't know. I would have thought that, and I know you've been saying it, saying it, saying it, and I don't have another answer because these
I
story,
don't
all
want to
this.
be right. I
I
don't
just,
want to be
I don't,
right.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
want to
It's
be
one of
right.
those you've been saying it over and over again, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know why you would do this and completely self sabotage yourself with all of this stuff. You know, I've said it over and over and over again, and you'll have people say it over and over again. The Wheel of Time was the easiest slam dunk on the
Yeah,
planet. You just
yeah.
there's and you know what? I know I'm looking forward to Nathan's breakdown. I know Madam Manethrin says it would take 15 episodes to do it to Eye of the World, right? I
He's
disagree.
serious.
He's
I
going
thought
crazy.
20. I
Uh,
said 20.
well,
He and
look,
I, when he talked about this, I said 20 at a minimum. But
I
Nathan, I
I
respect him. I
we've
respect his
just gone
opinions.
over it with Nurporeal and Nurporeal Lifeforms channel. I'm telling
I've
you,
been there.
10 real hour episodes, you could get all of the major points in there.
Fair.
I'm not talking.
But
Now would it be perfect? No, but we're talking about like 10-hour episodes. We could get the meat of the potato, and it would be
you
we'd be able
could
to get everything.
if you had somebody like Peter Jackson, you could.
Yeah, no,
You
there's
could.
people out there that could do it and do it well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're living in a reality where we're not going to get 20-hour episodes or 15. So I would take 10, and I think we could very easily. Well, I shouldn't say very easily, but we could um, put something together and remove some parts that could be removed, and put a
Mhm.
damn good series together with 10 episodes. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think it would be damn good.
It
I
would
don't know,
it would be better. It would be better than what we had now. And I
yeah,
would say honestly, what you need to do is have a 2 hour premiere and a 2 hour
yeah,
finale.
you could do that.
If you did that, that essentially works out to I'll split the middle because I think 15 is the minimum, but you could arguably then have 12 1 hour episodes because you have 12 total hours of television on 10 episodes, you
Yeah.
know? But if you have that build up in the front, because you can spend some time, especially with Tom
Oh yeah.
Merlin, who
Yeah. You
nobody
gotta. Yeah.
knows about because he's not in the show,
Well, he's not
you
in
know?
season. You saw. I don't know if saw my video. Not in season 2 because he's not
I
important in the
did.
Great Hunt at
Well,
all.
he wasn't in season 1 either. I don't know who
Yeah. Well,
that
that's true.
asshole was in the cowboy boots who had the western, twangy guitar. It's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's probably dead because he got cornered in that barn. But whatever. So yeah. So I know this is a bit of a knee jerk reaction, but I will. And I may have to. I may have to take some of this back. I doubt it, but um I wish my plea again. I started. He won't because he's never going to watch this. But please stop, just stop. Just make your novels, make videos about your novels, have people animate your novels and do videos on that. If you must talk about stuff, uh, like talk about old movies that you like, you've done that a few times, do that. Keep releasing projects that are freaking awesome and that we can all geek out over. I'm gonna
Yeah.
unbox all those miniatures probably in front of my camera and freaking geek out about how
Oh
cool they
yeah,
are.
dude. I said I want to paint him with you and your kids, and
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. I want
and
to
and
paint. I've got
you
my
know
craft camera right there.
and I signed up for when the book one came out, I got the
Oh
year to
yeah.
swag thing going on, so we're gonna unbox those on camera. I am a fan of you,
You
Brandon
are
Sanderson.
to the point of being obnoxious, but you
Yeah,
like I love that, just
uh,
like I am with my stuff.
if
You're a
it,
rabid fan.
I am, and it's like I spend money where I don't have it on your stuff. Stop doing this. It hurts. It
On
stop.
honestly, Steve, I'm going to stand by my original statement, which is I think there's two ways this could go. It could go the bad way that you're indicating, and I think that's fully possible. I do think, however, this was throwing the other potential is that this really could have been throwing shade at what Rafe Judkins in that idiotic non-writers room did to the Wheel of Time.
Yeah,
And now we're
maybe.
hearing that season 2 of the Not Wheel of Time is not even going to cover the Great Hunt or book 3. They're just going to make shit up like now. Like if maybe Sanderson has been cut out of season 2. I mean,
I don't.
there could be some weird ego dick things going on. You know what
Yeah,
I
maybe,
mean? Which wouldn't
maybe.
surprise
I mean,
me.
I don't even know that he was really a part of season one, but he might have been contractually obligated to say some
He
stuff.
was
I don't.
executive producer. His name was executive, which
It's
kind of
true.
means jack shit, but you
Yeah.
know.
Well, he's making some money from it, so um, I don't know. Maybe, but it's one of those. Maybe he's sitting at home going, "Man, that was cool. I just called Rings of Power shit and called Wheel of Time
That's
even worse. Maybe that's what's going on. He's having a
and
lull at
that's
home
what
with
I'm
his
saying.
buddies,
It could be that too.
and
I don't know.
if that's what it is, dude, you're
It's
trolling.
4D
You're
chess.
4G chess trolling. Great,
Yeah.
but and again, haven't watched the video. Will soon. And you know, I can have a more nuanced take on what he has to say, but
Yeah.
um, you know, in defense of the Rings of Power, talk about a hill you shouldn't be on to try and die on because you're gonna die. That
Well, in all fairness, like let's look at the most superficial of qualities. The Rings of Power, if you had the sound off, okay, like, and you just looked at the visuals, it at
without
moments
people,
kind of looked like Middle Earth. It kind of almost looked like Middle Earth, as
without the
opposed to the
people in
wheel.
it,
Yeah,
take the
right,
people out.
right. But look at the Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah,
If you turned off the sound on the Wheel of Time, you'd be like, "What the hell am I watching?" Because you wouldn't recognize the characters, you wouldn't recognize the world, you wouldn't recognize Emma's Field, you wouldn't recognize you wouldn't recognize Camelin because it wasn't in the show, or the Tower, because the Tower was not like that. Because you wouldn't recognize Moiraine, you wouldn't recognize Sawan Sanche. I mean, again, you would not recognize Tom because it wasn't Tom, or any of the characters, because they look nothing like they do in the book at all. And they're not the right age either. And I mean, just at that superficial quality, the Rings of Power wins. Because again, if you had
I
a
guess you're
broken
right.
TV with no audio, you go, "Oh, I guess that's kind of Middle Earth."
Wow, salty traveling sea defended in defense of the Rings of Power.
Yeah,
No,
make that
okay.
your headline. Salty defends the Rings of Power. No, I'm just saying.
No. I
But
no
here's
no
the
no.
thing: they're both total dog shit at the end of the day. Wheel of Time is a shotgun blowing your face and most of your skull all over the wall behind you. It is. Rings of Power is just right. It's still a big hole and messy, but Wheel of Time
Oh yeah.
just get a mop, get a bucket and a mop, because it's just chunks. That's it.
Check the toilet, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you know, we're gonna watch this YouTube video, and I'm gonna try and get some of the lads together to do a live stream about this, and we'll probably go. I'm sure we'll end up going down some Wheel of Time and Rings of Power rabbit
We
holes
have to.
as we
We have
already have right here.
Yeah.
But it's fun, right? Why not? Right? We got to get it out somewhere. But I just I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
either.
A
I
little
don't.
speechless.
I don't. Again, I don't know Sanderson's heart. I don't know what's going on. I do know what's going on in Hollywood. I do know. I do see what they're doing. Um, and again, none of these things are recurring in a vacuum. All of these things are happening with all of the studios for all of the same reasons. And we have got to stop expecting that in this codependent relationship that we have with entertainment, whether it be streaming or on the big stream, that the lying whore who is cheating on us and just wants our money which is the entertainment, which is Amazon and Netflix and Paramount and all of these studios, that somehow she's going to have a come to Jesus moment when we tell her to stop cheating on us, stealing our money, and lying to us. They're not going to. At that point, we need to extract ourselves from the relationship and stop making excuses for the lying whore, which is Hollywood in these streaming services. They are not going to change. They're not. And at the end of the day, they need us. We don't need them. Now, I'm really hoping Sanderson is not a part of that machine. I'm hoping that what I said was a potential thing where he did have maybe backhanded 4D chess Romulan mind game shit going on this, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I did. It's like I said, this doesn't make me angry because, like, I woke up after my overnight shift, turned over, and I got a notification in Defense of the Rings of Power by Brandon
Yeah,
Sanderson and his
yeah.
buddy, who his buddy, I can't stomach,
Rafe
but
Judkins. Yeah,
not Rafe. It's the guy he does his live streams, but it
I
didn't
know.
make me like angry. I was just like, oh
No,
god, like
no,
it just was sad. It's just like, and maybe
that's it. It's sad.
until I was just sad, and it's just like, please stop. And it's like, maybe you're right. Maybe he's just towing the line till finally he gets his contracts and he can do what he wants with his shows.
I don't know.
I guess we don't know till they come out, because they're coming out. They're gonna come out. I don't know where. Probably Amazon, like you said. I don't know, but I guess we don't know 100% till
No.
they're out. What's going on in his head. Him and his team are the only ones that know. And until
Yeah,
then, I'm going to keep the TV entertainment side of Sanderson over here, and I'm going to keep the
you
Cosmere
have
over
to.
here, and enjoy
Have
the
to.
books, and hope he knows what he's fucking doing. And I'm going
Yeah.
to call it. And if he doesn't, then dude, this channel is going to be uh, overloaded with what the fuck are you doing to
Rage.
your Cosmere rage.
Rage. Yeah,
Yeah.
but what you're saying, Steve, it's healthy distance. I said the same thing on the year-end review video that I did a couple days ago, where I looked back at everything they promised was going to come out in 2022, and I was talking about The Witcher, and I'm doing the same thing with the Sapkowski books. Like, I will always love Witcher season 1. I never managed to finish Witcher season 2. It just was boring. And I owned the books. I've physical copies. I've read them. I have the ebooks, read them several times. I'm rereading them now. Blood Origin does not get into my canon. It doesn't, because it was made for one reason: to destroy the masculine character in the history in the rich world that I loved. And I am not letting them in. Fuck Blood Origin. I'm not
Yeah,
watching it.
well, it looks terrible, but yeah, we that's another rabbit hole we could go down. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, we could go. You could go. We could keep going in circles over and over. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna watch this thing eventually. I'm almost done with overnights, thank God. So you'll see a few more streams. I'm doing. I know Az beat me to it, but National Treasure holds a special place in my heart.
Oh, I can't wait to
Oh,
hear
it's
your
out.
rage about that
It's
shit.
out,
I
and
cannot
I
wait.
watched episode 1. It is like, you know what I talked about, how Rings of Power is the solid poop and Wheel of Time is the diarrhea.
Yeah.
Well, National Treasure is the throw up under the diarrhea.
I did a review
Oh my
before the
god.
show came out, and I read what the writers said their mission was. And I made this video last April, maybe April 2 years ago. It it wasn't about what we loved about National Treasure. It was about my illegal aliens and about my
Oh yeah.
global
Oh
citizens and
yeah.
about my climate change.
The first episode, she says about 18 times she's undocumented, and the
Yeah.
major concern is her going on this treasure hunt because ICE might get her and deport her.
Oh, Orange Man bad. How topical.
So yeah, so that's for another time. But yeah, so thanks for sitting down and at least getting my original or our unwatched thoughts on just the title of a video. But I guess titles speak louder than words. Well, they are words. Titles speak volumes at times, and hopefully there's I hope it's some shade. I hope it's your theories right and some shade being thrown. Very very low key shade being thrown to try and stay off the radar. But I guess we'll watch and see, and then hopefully live stream with a few guys and talk about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thanks for joining me for this little minor vent session, but
My
yeah. So
pleasure.
thanks for tuning in. You got anything you wanna say before we take off here?
No, I'm Salty Traveling Sea. I put out content on a regular basis. If you haven't watched, I'd love if you checked out some of my videos. The most recent thing I did, I don't know when this is going to drop, was the the trailer review of a movie called 65, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Adam Driver. Yes, Kylo Ren, in yet another sci fi movie. And this one is about time travel and dinosaurs. Yeah, that's real.
I
Go
think it
check that
dropped,
movie out.
so check it out. I think I
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
notification right under this, so I sort
yeah.
of got sad and tried to go back to sleep, but not because of yours, because of the other one. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it
Sure.
is. So I'm not sure how well this channel, this well maybe the channel too. This video is going to
The
age, but it is
yeah.
Christmas time, so I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Hopefully, here going to have a little bit more content to hang out before the run to Christmas. Lots of wrapping
Yeah, baby.
and presents to do, but Merry
Mm,
Christmas,
mm,
everybody
mm,
that
mm.
celebrates Christmas, and yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon for some more. Thanks a lot.
Merry
Bye bye.
Christmas.